what I invite you to do right now is take a gift in hand or virtually in mind, and let's say together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is. Here's what I forgot, real quick. The Christmas Eve service, Thursday night, have a candle, would you? Have a candle ready for the end of it. Any kind of candle, it doesn't matter, big candle, little candle. We're going to do a candle lighting together virtually, all right? So that's sweet. Here's Reverend Lisa now with our opening meditation.
All right. Well, I'm going to invite you into the sacred, into the inner healing experience. But what I'm going to encourage you to do right now is to take a nice deep breath. Just breathe it all the way down. Relax as you release the breath. Take one more nice deep breath. Just breathe it all the way down to your toes. And as you release the breath, relax. Just let everything go. Set your day aside, set your week aside, set this year aside. And be here now. Universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one, and all is well. As we begin the inner healing process, let me invite you to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your right hand. And let my words act as your own, for your own inner acceptance and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging the higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems, while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of the infinite presence, I simply speak these words, I surrender. Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, now I say, I forgive. Realizing that I am continually experiencing the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only constructive, positive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose. I now center upon that one special idea that I am willing to accept as real for me in this coming week, visualizing the idea as already acted upon and brought to pass. In seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words, I accept. Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release. Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me, a family member, friend, mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways, someone who's not physically present in the room this morning. And I turn to that image in mind and say, I am grateful for the good in your life. I now open my eyes to the world around me and turn joyfully to the person next to me and all of you virtually and share my gratitude and confidence by saying, I am grateful for the good in your life.
Please clap for them at home. Scare the Cat, Mary Radspinner, Jeffrey Oshman. Just gorgeous. Mary's a member here, by the way. One of our talented crew. Highly talented. Today's about Counting Stars by Candlelight, which is a song lyric, as are all of the talk titles this month. And it works because tomorrow morning at 4:02 in the morning, or tonight if you stay up late, is the winter solstice, the precise moment of the winter solstice, the precise moment of the longest night of the year. And I know you're having a long night. We're all having a long night of waiting. And in the long night of waiting, we keep watch. As I talked about last week, waiting is about preparing. As we prepare, we begin to move from preparation to patience. But first there's the preparation. First there's the work. To remember that the sun will rise again. One year I was giving a winter solstice talk, and at the end of it, a person came up to me who was new or newish with us at the time and said, you know, you talked all about the coming of the light and how the light increases. The winter solstice is the moment actually you move from the longest night, and then the light begins to gradually increase. And this is what the ancients in the northern hemisphere looked forward to, you know. But this person pointed out, they said, dwell in the dark a while. Let's don't always be hustling off into the light. Be in the darkness, because in the darkness there's a deepening. In the darkness there's a growth that occurs. The structure of nature is such that, like the roots of the trees and plants and all, that's where the business end is of these things. That's where the deepening is taking place. That's where the nutrients are being sucked up. The side of things that we see for our entertainment and our beauty, well, they have a function too. But it's said that if this were like a mammal, you know, or like a human figure, a tree or something, the head would be in the earth, seeking what it needs. So our souls are seeking something deep in the dark right now. And it's a dark time for us, and it's a time of waiting. What are we waiting for? I'm waiting for a vaccine. Okay, for one thing. I'm waiting for a vaccine. I'm waiting for some semblance of normalcy. I'm waiting for travel. I'm waiting for community. This is not in any particular order. And as soon as I get through listing them, I'll think of more things that I'm waiting for that I can't have yet. You know, like going and sitting in a restaurant. Yeah, I suppose I could, but it's awkward and uncomfortable and all. Shopping in a mall. Just doing normal activities. Even traffic. I miss traffic. And I saw this picture. I saw this meme sort of thing the other day, except it didn't have a funny caption to it. It was just, it was what it was. And it was somewhere in Eastern Europe. It showed these two boulevards, okay, intersecting, that are normally filled with traffic. And there were two cars, and they had a fender bender right there at the intersection. And it was like, you've heard that story about, what was it, the first two cars in Kansas or something ran into each other, you know. Well, I long for not traffic accidents, but for traffic, for seeing people, you know, coming to this place. You go through a big corporate campus up here near the freeway, and there's people streaming in and out of there. Not now. Not now. They're not coming to work, and they've had a lot of layoffs. And so I'm waiting for things. We're all waiting for things. We're waiting to get our stimulus checks. We're waiting. What's the next round of support going to be? Those restaurants that I'm not comfortable eating in, are they going to be there when I am comfortable eating in them? You know what I'm saying? There are all sorts of businesses that are teetering on the precipice right now, and we don't know where things are going to head. So we wait to find out, because some things are out of our control. What we can control is our experience of things. What we cannot control are things that are global, things that are commercial, things that are industrial, that are beyond our immediate purview. So we wait to see. And this is where faith comes in. And I've been quoting, I quote relentlessly this line from Emerson. It says that faith that stands on authority is not faith. In other words, don't believe a thing just because somebody told you should. You find your own faith. Where do you find faith? You find it in the dark. How do you find something in the dark? You take a candle with you. You take a light with you. You take a light. What's that passage from George the Sixth, I think it was? The man stood at the gate of this now came to me. The man stood at the gate of the year. I said to the man who stood at the gate of the year, give me a light that I may make my way into the unknown. And he said, reach out your hand and touch the hand of God, and that will be to you better than a light and safer than a known way. Better than a light and safer than a known way. Lisa's Googling it now to see if I got that right. But it's, bring your candle Thursday night. You have a candle somewhere in the house. But if you didn't, you have a light within. You have a light within yourself. Lisa's going to speak about the light within next month. You have a light within yourself that can illuminate the darkness. This is where we go with faith. So the faith that stands on authority is not faith. What is it? It's more authority. The faith that stands on direct knowledge, unmediated experience of the divine. That's faith. And this is the preparation that we do. This is the Advent experience that we have. And as we are preparing for Christmas, it's the experience of making room. There was no room at the inn. Oh man, has that passage been taken apart over the years? They have vilified the innkeeper. Can you imagine how bad this innkeeper must have felt? Here shows up the Holy Family. Mary's about to give birth to the Christ child. The innkeeper can't find them a room because they were paying guests in from out of town because the census was being taken. And in those days and in that part of the world, you had to physically show up to be counted. Well, it's a metaphor. Could actually have happened too. And it's a metaphor. Because the Christ child is born within us, as are all sacred devices. And so we create a place within ourselves. What do I have to do within me so that the Christ child can be born in me? I have to move aside my opinions. I have to move aside my struggle. All my estimation of reality, all of my cleverness, figuring out how stuff is, I have to set that aside for a time in order to experience just this full innocence and trust and wonder and astonishment and awe. And you picture a baby with its eyes, just taking it all. As soon as the eyes can begin to focus, the baby's just drinking it all in. I want that. I want that. Rumi, from a different time and a different culture, says, sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. Isn't that great? Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. To be simply astonished at how things are. So there's a light within ourselves, and there are lights that encircle us. We're counting stars by candlelight. Tomorrow's the winter solstice, and you know what else is happening? You've probably heard about this. The conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. They're calling it the Christmas star. Some people are calling it Supiter. Supiter. And this is happening where these two planets, though a gazillion miles apart, are going to appear one behind the other. They're going to appear so close together that it's said, and I got this from the NASA website, it's said that if you hold your hand out and put your pinky up, that with your pinky finger, like so, you can cover both of them. That's how close they will be in proximity, in visual proximity to one another on the horizon, on the southwest horizon, just after sunset tonight, especially tomorrow when they are in full conjunction, and the next day. And they have done this from time to time, but not really often. In fact, the last time that this happened at night where it could be seen, this full conjunction, was in the year 1226. Isn't that amazing? 12. So whoever's writing this on the NASA website, being very tongue-in-cheek, they're saying, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I'm thinking, yeah, unless you live to be 800 and some years old, assuming it comes around again that often, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And then you read about it, and people are saying, well, what does it mean? And this is where we get back into the faith that rests on authority. What does it mean? Oh, it means terrible trouble awaits all of us, and doom and gloom and all of that. You read that one place. Another place you read, it's a new beginning, it's a whole fresh start. It's all. Naturally, I gravitate more toward that. But you know what? If there weren't this conjunction, it would be a whole new start and a fresh beginning and all the rest of this stuff, because every day is. So what does it mean? It means what it means to you. What does Christmas mean? Man, have I spoken words on that, written words on that. I have paper files of Christmas talks and things that I've given over the years that, they're like, it's poundage of this stuff. And what it all comes down to is, well, it could be this or it could be that, or here's an interesting little story, here's some poems. What does it mean? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? And it's not canceled. And it's not canceled. There's an email came out from a man in England, in London, where they just shut down the city in the last couple of days. People are, basically it's a shelter in place is what it sounds like to me. Every business, family gatherings, forget it, outside of your house, gathering with the neighbors? No, because they're saying there's a new strain of the coronavirus now that they're having to look at. And so this man, he writes and he says, well, I'm telling you from London, he says, we're going to have a sad time here. And then he's telling you in this email, Christmas is not canceled. See? This guy, inside that experience, is saying with defiance to the world, Christmas is not canceled, nor will New Year's be. Dickens is canceled, Mardi Gras is canceled, and events are canceled, but the experience of the presence of the divine, if you'll have it, if you'll take it, is not. And there's a light. And sometimes the light comes by email, and sometimes it comes by text message, And sometimes it's so close that we look far away for it. We go out there and we're looking for Saturn and Jupiter, and they're calling it the Christmas star, but it's not a star, it's two planets. But it looks like the thing that the Magi followed across the desert, to get to the Christ child. And there's a whole interesting story about who those people might have been. But Emerson also said, and Ernest Holmes echoed him, that we do look too far away for reality, for answers, for what's right here. So, I have a little story I've told you before, but I don't think to the point of you'll find something else to do in the next few minutes rather than hear it again, because it's been a while and I think I only told it once. But anyway, here it is. So, Jeffrey's laughing. If it's been said by me from this stage, he will remember. He is the archivist of Sundays, Jeffrey Oshman. He will remember. He'll probably remember the month and day even that it was said. But the story simply is this, to make the point of the closeness of what we seek. I was driving back in the day, a couple of years ago, when people drove without thinking. They got in the car and went where they wanted to go and so on. And I had gone someplace on a Saturday, the other side of town, and I was coming home around sunset, coming up on an elevated highway with the sun setting obviously in the west, which was to my left. And I was thinking, because I was on my way home and I'd finished what I needed to do that day, I was thinking about what I was going to say to you folks the next day. And what came into my mind was a passage by Holmes that I quote a lot about. The mind that made a star is the same mind that you use. And I've shared how I really like that, and how it's much more impactful to me than saying the mind that made a star made you also, because that puts us kind of in a passive position. There's us and stars and, this and that, and, all the material in the world. But the mind that made a star is the mind that you use, puts you in an active, co-creative position. So this is what I'm thinking about in the car as I'm driving along, waiting to get home to pull all of this together and prepare the talk to give to you. When, as I'm looking out, and there wasn't much traffic, so I kept kind of looking over at the sunset, and it was a pretty sunset, and all of a sudden it hit me, as things do with a blinding flash of the obvious. That is a star. I don't think I'd ever called it that before. I knew that. We learned that in, second grade or something? But that's not a star, that's the sun. It comes up and it lights everything up, and it's hard to look at, and sometimes it's too bright, and you got to cover yourself in sunscreen and wear a hat and all this. And it hit me that this is a star. And here I am there's Proxima Centauri, where they may have just got signals from or something. Lisa looked, it's Proxima Centauri. I'm gesturing, just sort of to nothing, middle distance. But here's this, and look at the constellations, the stars, and they're way out there. And what is that line? All are dim, but one is bright. Spiral light of Venus rising through the night. And I look out, and right here, all day is a star, right there, all day. And I've overlooked it. No more. I honor it as such now. I said, it's a different kind of star. This is what stars look like close up. What this star does is it enables me to do stuff. It enables us to do stuff. It enabled our ancestors to do stuff before they had figured out how to make portable fire that was safe and convenient and so on. And their workday pretty much ended when that star set on the horizon. That's what a star does. That's what a good light does, is it helps you do your work. We were talking about a couple of weeks ago, the cleansing of the temple at Hanukkah. You know, you do the work. This is part of the preparation. So I want to leave you with this thought. I have a friend of 50 years. I just realized 50 years. He's my age. He may be watching today. He knows who he is. He's 12 days younger than I am. And I think I have lorded that over him for 50 years. That in those 12 extra days that I've been on this earth, a certain wisdom, a certain understanding came to me that he has yet to catch up with. No, not really. He's a wise and wonderful individual, and I'm proud to call him my friend. And we've had a lot of wonderful experiences together. But we were exchanging emails the other day, and he wished me a happy birthday, and then I turned around and wished him one. And he was talking about their holidays, he and his wife, and he said, we'd like to see our daughter and our grandkids, because we haven't seen her in a year. She lives 800 miles away. She lives 2 states away from where they do, okay? And not way deep in the state. 800 miles, 12-hour drive, give or take. What is that? 3-hour, maybe, plane flight. Hasn't seen her in a year. And my heart really went out, because I know you're going through that too. Many of you who are watching this. And I don't know your stories, and I don't know your families, and we don't go back 50 years together, and so it didn't have quite maybe the same impact, but particularly if I don't know about it at all. The people that you're missing and the experiences that you're missing and the traditions that you're not able to follow this time around. It's tough. It's tough. But listen, your beloveds live under the same canopy of stars as do you. Go out tonight. Have a look up at the sky, especially around sunset. But linger longer and look what all's out there. And realize that everyone on this planet that you love, wherever they may be, is under that same sheath. If they're the other side of the world, it's moved a little bit, in perspective, but it's the same body of work that's covering them. And all of those who've gone on. And next Sunday, I'm going to memorialize a little bit as we close out the calendar year. But all of those who've gone on once stood beneath that, once looked up in awe and astonishment. And now where are they? Well, we don't know exactly. We don't know exactly. But one body of stuff that I enjoy reading says that what happens is you enter the stars. You enter the stars. The energy of you distributes itself into the stars. I like to think we maintain personal self-consciousness, but you know why I like to think that? Because I'm attached to it. The connectivity of stuff and getting stuff done and always having something to look forward to and all. So that's what I tend to believe or want to believe. But this I know, those stars that exist around us are not there for no purpose. Nothing is random. Not everything can be explained, but nothing is random. And so if you need a light, look out into the dark and see that light there, and it'll start just as a little bitty twinkle, rising, spiral light of Venus rising first and shining best until Saturn and Jupiter move her aside for the next couple of nights. Look at that light and let that light be your beacon and your guidance within. And I love you all very much, and I will see you Thursday night when we bring some light to this stage. Once again, please welcome Mary Radspinner, Jeffrey Oshman.
Wow. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love harp music. You guys are a dynamic duo. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. So Danielle is on vacation. I don't know if we mentioned that. We mentioned how much we miss her, but she is on vacation. And yet she is still working the comments. So if there's anything that you need in the comments that you would normally need from us, it's there. So the link to the website, the link to the PayPal, the link to there was one other link in there to the after the prayer. It's all in the comments. So if you need any of it, it's there. She's on vacation and still working for us. So we are extremely grateful for Danielle. And now I ushered you into the sacred, but I'm not going to usher you back out. We are in the holiday season. If you grew up Catholic, we're in the Advent season. We are in the Festival of Lights. We are truly in a sacred time. But I want to remind you that when you look around you, everything is sacred. Because we're all made of the same stuff, and the stuff that we're made of is spirit. It's divine. And that means the chair that you're sitting on to the flower that is stubbornly blooming in December. It's all divine. So, in that knowing, I'll bring you a little deeper into the sacred. With the knowing that there is one life, one power, one presence, one love. And that love flows through each and every one of us. That love flows through me, in me, as me. Just as I know that it flows through you, in you, as you. That love comes from an inexhaustible source, because the truth is there's only one energy, and that is love. And through love, all things are possible. Vaccines are possible. Traffic is possible. Beautiful music is possible. Connection is possible. Sacred silence is possible. Whatever it is that you seek this holiday season is available. And as Reverend Jesse reminded us, perhaps it's been staring us in the face the whole time. We've just been using another name for it. So I encourage you now to look with the eyes of love at everything around you and see that which you seek looking back at you, waiting for the recognition. And I know this in gratitude. And I state now what I am grateful for. I am grateful for this place. I am grateful for the possibility via the internet of being with you. I am grateful for Reverend Jesse. I am grateful for the team that puts this on, including Danielle on vacation, and my beloved husband who is currently staring at the camera. And I'm grateful for the musicians who do an amazing job every time. We don't know what they're going to do, but we do know it's always going to be amazing. And I'm grateful for the scientists who worked day and night to bring us the advances that will help us end what's going on now. And now on to the people who are rushing it to us in all the amazing ways. The pilots, the truckers, the delivery people. And yea, the manufacturing plants who are turning it out as fast as they can. And I'm grateful for the holiday season, for this time for us to step back into the sacred and look with fresh new eyes of that babe, so that the Christ consciousness comes alive in each and every one of us. And I release my word into law, knowing it is done, even as I speak these words. And so it is.
And this is for Ruth the Truth and everybody else out there. Say with me now, something wonderful is happening through me. I feel it in my body. I feel it in my mind. I feel it in everything I am. I choose it. I trust it. I use it. And I love it. And so it is. Happy Yule, y'all. See you Thursday night.